Well, good morning, everyone. Are you ready for more suffering? So now, to make it more interesting, it's nature of suffering. Then you relax. Because nature is suffering is more, actually, more serious than suffering itself. Because the manifest suffering is too late. So now, with the nature of the suffering, this is something we have to deal with. So that's the two different things here. So now, as a motivation, today I just wanted to share this one of the great Buddhist King Bhimbimsara, one of the first students of Buddha Shakyamuni. So when the king requested the teaching from Buddha to give a teaching, then Buddha said, now I see you as a very rightful a person to speak this teaching, give this teaching to you. So then Buddha said, O king, if you wanted to get out from suffering, then you have to let go of this birth. In order to do that, then you need to let go the five aggregates. Once this teaching really deepens into the king's heart, then so much joy. Not like for us, we feel like, what is this? Why I have to give up my five aggregates? I feel comfortable. But the king was so waiting for this teaching. So then he was so happy to receive this teaching. And then automatically the king asked a question. If the having a five aggregate is the clinging to the root of the suffering, and then what is the infinite happiness? Now it's coming up. I'm going to infinite. Now it's coming up. So he asked this question. Then Buddha answered, not having the five aggregates anymore is the infinite happiness. So then, not just Buddha giving this teaching, then Buddha connects to all the sequence, saying like, now, time to time, not just saying I have to let go of these five aggregates and then feel like depressed. Now you need to again think of the benefits of that, not letting go. What means this koali? That those koali yijumba sayadi, ani koali yijum shevati karresena, ani dungi zawadi, ani kyawati cheso, kyawati leda nyomo ni cheso. Leda nyumuni karchini ki dosna ane ko sim mi pashasa chigi parsore yumo benizu de mitun beki ane yujila do seje si jinji chache ane chaso nyumo keso 디 인도 참비 디 매바 쇠바 매바 쇠나 딜레팀비 사진이 와르비 풍봉아 도드 안텔라 타와스 딘지기 상로디 코알레 타르세 상로드나 레송나 신의 아니 다 르바신도 아니 결혼이야 연된 가리다 가리 연구를 이슬람나는 좀 되게 방문을 되지
So, to definitely emerge from cyclic existence or samsara, what does that mean? To definitely emerge from cyclic existence, the mind that strives for that recognizes that what is the cause of all of the samsara, and it is birth or taking rebirth. And that taking rebirth, where does that come from? It comes from the karma which arises from our afflictions. And those afflictions, where do they come from? Well, they arise due to this grasping at this wrong object. So the object that the grasping at the self observes is a non-existent object. So this self-grasping ignorance is this wrong mind that grasps a self that doesn't actually exist. And so recognizing that that is the root of all of this underlying suffering, then seeing that the mind that strives to overcome all of this, to counteract that self-grasping ignorance, and to put a stop to all this cycle of rebirth, then this is the mind that is striving for liberation. And then, so this mind that's striving for liberation, this state of liberation, is this freedom from taking again and again these contaminated, appropriated aggregates.
다치는 코알이 인중지 깨베이나 아니 디기 팬 삼김비자고 가려요레스도 아니 랑신 당보대로 가르리 그랬어도 아니 코비기 줄이야 아니 제바치니 삼로도 쭉쭉 싶으실래요 그래서 코비 줄 제바치고 온도 잡에 아니 가르리 뭐라도 다 아코알이야 칭예기 줄이 조 가르셨으나 진주로시 아니 진주로시데 남자하고 미다발 아니 따버지야 아니 미장으로 장버지야 아니 동야발라 대버지야 아니 다음에 발라 다음에 가서래 가서 다음에 발라 아니 다도 다야 오 디주 친주로 시디 아니 강내 아니 만족이 로로바디 컨디지를 샤스 제바치 상로딜레 디 용소나 디 람산 디 따와디 아니 토르비치에도 아니 아주다다 람 양탑의 람 세치 디제 정랑 로바이나 아니 양탑의 람 카레스도 아니 아주 파라메라게 세트나로 신이 주 가교를 맞지 아니 파라메라게디 신이 점점에디 모르는 도와.
And so this mind that's determined to come free from cyclic existence, what's called renunciation, or the definite emergence, this wish for definite emergence from cyclic existence. So what this attitude that wishes to definitely emerge from cyclic existence does is it then impels you to investigate what is the root cause of the cyclic existence, and recognizing it's this wrong grasping at the self being the root of all the cyclic existence. Then this mind investigates how it's grasping, and so then there's all these other wrong graspings that come, or wrong views that arise from that too, like grasping at what is not happiness to be happiness, what is unclean or impure to be clean or pure, what is what doesn't have a self, holding that to have a self, and what is happiness to be, what is in the nature of suffering to be happiness. So these four wrong graspings, they're all actually wrong awarenesses, right? They hold their objects in the wrong way, and so then one strives to cultivate then that's when one turns to look for the correct path, the correct paths, or the correct minds to overcome these wrong views. And then we come to this presentation of the Eightfold Arya Path.
제자가 파람이다 제대는 단다 차장을 로고지 그처럼도 저거 여비나 야 단다 먼저 된데 resident teacher 그런 요리 네 저랑도 야 봐줘 디 고도슈는 뒤로 봐 다데네 개치슈 데 파마명과 얘기가 또 스파 레온도 잠베 아니 신에 당아 저기 냠랭기 다 자와데 레온도 잠베 파마양라 예를 때네 아니 가르쳐 용거리에서도 잠베 아니 신에 풍부메베 양예레 데베 아니 잉세야다 풍부메베 아니 잉수 돈이 아니 신에 하나만 좀 마소나 다 자와체 고주야티 다 신에 풍부메베 양예레 데바 세디 양예를 대바세 삼모당도 전에 아니 동행기 정신에 타러와세 삼모당단치 동행기 정신 용사디 가지 아주 풍부하게 정신 되려나 사제 녀월에 풍부하게 정신 안 돼서나 아니 야바도 동행 연구기 어르슬라디 사제 녀월에 풍부 되려 절내 앵아신에 내가 제지 고쪽 슬랍서 깨져지라고 보다 제자가 더 디퍼도 아니 말하면 좀 쉽게 상황 고쪽서데 가만히 라서 슬라나 니중기 도스 니중기에서데 가만히 되셨으냐 아니 동행기 동행세야 되라 아니 동행 나가 숨기 키워지 아니 고아 타달래 타바세 천되지 말래는 아니 디다 탐지가 좀 깨지 지금 말이라 돈도 상물리기 말아 어디지네 좀 된대기 아니 그 수진이고 빔빔살이야 아니 다다 개부처럼기 아니 주다 얘기다 통보도 신중 계셔스 당연중 계신 계차비 쇼라 엔처나다 다다도 탐제 아니 저랑 담아줘서 칼라서 좋아디 얘기를 도스랍스 좀
So we don't need to go into the presentation of the Eightfold Arya Path and go through each of them right now. If any of you have questions about it, then we have a resident teacher here, we have other people that can discuss it with gradually in your own time. So we don't need to go into them now. But the real heart of the matter, when you're looking at this Eightfold Arya Path, is looking at this way to overcome psychic existence. So it's having this mind that is definitely striving to overcome psychic existence. So what it's striving to overcome is the suffering of the contaminated appropriated aggregates. So not just the 5 aggregates, but the contaminated appropriated aggregates through which we repeatedly take and cycle through samsara. So then what does it mean to completely, so to overcome those 5 contaminated appropriated aggregates is to become free from them. And becoming free from those, the contaminated aggregates is the state of freedom or the state of liberation. And it's the state of like resting in the nature, resting in the nature of this freedom from the 5 contaminated aggregates, or the state of liberation free of those contaminated aggregates. And so when recognizing that that is the state of freedom, then one has to develop this wish that is striving for this definite emergence, striving for this liberation from the 5 contaminated aggregates. And that's the heart of it. Without having that, then you've got nowhere to go from that. So it's from generating this desire or this striving for this liberation or this definite emergence that is the opening for then engaging in the stages of the path that will bring that about. And that is why Lord Buddha said to the King Bimbisara, he taught this teaching to then first generate this mind striving for liberation, this attitude of renunciation or definite emergence, and then to begin the practices of the stages that will bring about that freedom.
파람양라 제세기 레가디 남셔주도 아주 제대로 요르데 옛날인데 파람세 양닭배 파람세 뭐이 비교생 가르선 데라 인중그 산비스바 데라 아니 동유도 셔를 있음바 매장 아니 데가 저 가주 남셔준도 직된나로 자와체데 탐지 양닭바 말레스 다 양닭바지 거는 고조서 인중그 산비스바다 아니 동유도 셔를 있으면 되는데 신이 양닭바 부르시지
So this the Arya path or the Arya path or the correct path, what constitutes or what makes them an Arya path or a correct path for the Aryas, then and what why is it that our paths or our activities that we engage in are not Arya paths or the correct paths? Well, what constitutes something being the correct or pure path of the Aryas is whether or not it is when it is qualified by or like infused by the
mind which held by Simba. Qualified Simba. Okay.
Yeah. So it's qualified by this mind of renunciation, this determination to be free from samsara. When the path or the activities we're doing is infused or qualified by that attitude, that mind that is striving to become free, or this renunciation, and qualified by the wisdom that realizes or understands reality, understands selflessness. When those two attitudes or minds, the mind of renunciation, wishing to be free from psychic existence, and the mind of the wisdom, understanding the nature of reality, when those two minds qualify any path or any mind, then it becomes a correct path or a pure path, and like in line with the Arya path. And so any activities that we're engaging in, any minds that we have at the moment, if they're not infused with that, that's why they're like worldly paths. Because we don't have those two attitudes qualifying our mind, then our minds are not these correct paths of the Arya path.
So also Buddha gave a very profound teaching by saying, "Oh, now King, if you after this now you have generated this renunciation to get out from samsara, get rid of the samsara. So now with this mind which you qualified or held by this mind, now if the comparison, without this, if you give the alms to all the beggars in this world, like we see, countless people, they are sentient beings. You fed them one day, and they won this kind of a merit. And then with this mindset, which this mind held by the renunciation, and then you try to give the alms to one beggar. This mind which is held by the renunciation is immeasurable benefit than this merit. So now you king, now you are ready to shine more and more flourish towards your kingdom and your people's way. Your people, you are now ready to do that. So now this teaching in this in audience. Now maybe day after tomorrow, or maybe 2-3 years later, you are going into your own path, and I'm going to also going on my path and to annoy more people. And you're going back to your own routine. But now, time to time, it's very important to bring. We do all the activities. We wanted to have more merits, more support. You wanted to generate more kind of love, compassion. All this, whatever you try to generate or practice. So without this kind of mindset, not having quite a deep understanding of the renunciation of the samsara, then how much you try to generate compassion or self-compassion, or the renunciation saying self-compassion, and then try to help others. Always your mind will be weak, more weak than the mind which is held by the renunciation. So keep this in your mind, and time to time, if you are really moved in doing some extraordinary practices to tame your mind, and then bring the practices. So have to keep this in your mind. Otherwise, this great king, when he listened to the teachings of the Buddha, Buddha can give any kind of just a mindful exercise or some yogas. Also, to tell him a very nice story, some kind of a temporarily inspiring teachings. But then he gave this the sutra that we can still see, which is called the Sutra to King Bhimbimsara. So in there, the king becomes much better to handle the kingdom. And then he becomes much stronger. And then he knows how to complain. He knows how to bring a compassion to his own people. All this is when normally we say world peace, the leader has to have this kind of qualification. Lama has to be, the guru has to be this kind of that quality. The student has to have this kind of quality, so that they can bring some kind of impact to their surroundings. It is easier, very easier to say something, but to bring into practice much harder. So time to time it is very important to bring this kind of taming your mind, which I think it's very rare to listen to this kind of teaching. And that's why in here Lama Tsongkhapa emphasizes a lot. In many of the Nalanda tradition, if you look at the teachings from all the masters of the Nalanda, they focus so much on this, so much. And that's why we can say that why Tantra is hidden. Because many people rush towards Tantra, but not this one. So that's why Tantra is not practiced publicly, largely taught by the Buddha. You know what? When Buddha gives a teaching on Tantra, then he dissolve his body into the subtlest the body, and through the from the Dharmakaya, then he brings all the manifestations of the deities, and whatever this kind of tantric practice that particularly individual has to be done, then he gives this teaching, and then he bring back his own form as a monk, and then goes on. So why? Because that is a very reserved and a very, we say, VIP pass. You need a VIP pass for that. So much merit, so much the guru devotion level on the Tantra is, oh my goodness. If you look at just listening to the teaching on a tantra, and then you look at, right now we are looking at the samsara and the suffering, you just go, oh my God, I cannot handle it. But in the tantra, just listening to the guru devotion, it's like, oh my goodness, wow, I cannot do it. So people don't have time for all these practices, guru devotion and everything. But then they need tantra practices. So that tantra is just like a samsaric pleasure that we all know. When people hear tantra, they will go crazy. Whoa, I like that. So this is nothing to do with the samsara. It's for actually to get the fully enlightenment. Even the Buddha never teaches tantra to the arhats, aryas, hearers and hearers and rangye soldier is rangye sirudabe rangye sa rangye kasire sabar sabatan what particular Buddhas, right? We say particular Buddhas. The Buddha never teaches Dhamma Tantra. So very important. Now, once you don't have the motivation to cut the root of the samsara, and then all these teachings, how to actually in asking the question about how to be infinite, bring an infinite happiness, it's too early. Because you might get some tips to bring in infinite happiness, and then you might use that in the wrong place. So then who will get the opposite of benefit? Disadvantages. Disadvantages yourself. So that's why we need to be, when we always ask what is infinite happiness, we are not just asking for happiness, which we are trying to ask a question about temporary happiness. So here, the first question, it's related to that. So I already answered that. Are all pleasant feelings in the nature of suffering? So what do you mean all? Right now, what we are feeling? If this is not all pleasant feeling, what we have this feeling at the moment, it's similarly here. Now it will talk about Jazan Kazan, Jigdingi Devasayati, Pulmix Tanda Dirva Nazati, the Karsavati, the Laya, and Chu Karsa Tamurve, Chutamuchubina, Devajimati, and call Mavacha, the Ranshin to Leo, the Chuni, but Nashi, around with Tanda Deva. So when
we talk about the happiness of samsara, or the pleasures of samsara, cyclic existence, it's like we looked at yesterday with the analogy of the inflamed boil. When you put some cool water on it and you feel that relief and it feels nice, doesn't it? But it's a temporary feeling that dissipates after some time. So for the most part, most of our happiness, probably 95%, is that kind of, is similar to that kind of happiness, right? But to completely get rid of the of samsara and the happiness that you have there, then that's this lasting happiness.
That shine tuwa down to them, and ngoni ki dewa seti. Ngoni ki dewa seta denar the infinite set happiness. Ngoni ki dewa seti karres, and denar te shejapche tatanda. 쇼라니 제니 슈잡게 나로라야 아니 그래서 저 동의를 메고가듯이 맞아 고나서 동의 맞는 동의 고모서 신야 착바제불 주베스 대대도와 신야 착바제불 주베 다들 초와 대화니스 페모치 동의 치르줘베 치르줘발 대외밖에 봐 연기 동의 세월을 믿으면 원이지 대화는 매대 스타젤시 단다 미디 주었다고 딜렌자다.
Okay, so then we come to looking at what is this infinite happiness. So carrying on with the text, moreover, your current pleasant feelings, which cause attachment to grow, mostly arise only upon the relief of suffering. Pleasure does not exist naturally, independently of the removal of suffering. For example, if you suffer because of too much walking, a pleasant state of mind arises when you sit down. Then, as the earlier intense suffering fades, pleasure appears to arise gradually. Yet sitting is not naturally pleasant, because if you sit too long, suffering arises again, just as before. Suppose that sitting and other postures were causes of pleasure by their very nature. Just as suffering increases in proportion to your involvement with the causes of suffering, so should your pleasure increase the longer you walk or sit or lie down, drink or eat, or stand in the sun or shade. However, it is clear that if you do any of these for too long, suffering is all that results.
This is beautiful, isn't it? Somehow you cannot say no to that. Somehow you cannot say no to that. So you bring all this kind of happiness. I think we can kind of relate to what Lama Tsongkhapa is directing us, directing Ziwe, directing towards. So now, as this person asks, are all pleasant feelings in the nature of suffering? So you ask Lama Tsongkhapa, and Lama Tsongkhapa has given you an answer here. Now, then moves on. Penas did this one? Did one? Or did it? Or did it? Do you get the one? There wasn't now in Moni, the one in Mendes, Moni, the was in the conditions, Moni, the Wayina, the Quado. There wasn't now in the Moni, the one in Lion, there, Tanaka, the join, Moni, the way you Inasa, Dungi, you jitter temper, doing you jitter temper, doing Jeppe the Roshindos, Rudu the Nyawada, Sadon, the Himat, the Tiba, the Sober, Jism, the Temper, Jeppe, they were Jeppe already. Ako doing Cherokee and Julian to Yomarmas. Or they do some better, you can see Ranjugi, Devati, and Jeppe to Hachi, that you always and Julie. Oh, you can see. And he gave up because of Deva Konakio, doing immediately, they had in good ways, that you will leave.
So, after looking at this, then we have to ask ourselves, is it the cause for happiness? Is it the cause for the happiness really, or is it the cause for the suffering to increase?
Tabena, as you jigging in a lot, same distraction gel dona and dumiji do slab yinza distraction chazan pakache and sem develop shine seata and the sem jida do and number shot over that they were told to see or in a she yungur was in a yungudus and choose jig there to choose need there to choose some there to and you magic there to and those and dawa there to say geji leon the zambe any that dimjigi Nejoba Degi, and Manjugi, Dewa Kibutanda, Manjugi, any Jidingi Dewa long Jidan Tong, the game show of that. Kajans and Korangi, the Judy, Dewa Chichir Peva Jida, 지제 패스도야 배 초담의 얘기지 말이 샘tempo 지는 바데 후유에도 좀 타디 tempo 싶지고라.
So if we recognize that when our mind gets distracted by all things, then it actually brings us about suffering, right? So then if we seek to develop this single point of concentration of calm abiding, so that we're able to place the mind on its object for in whatever way we want, for however long we want, then you get this you get this stable happiness and this peace of mind when you're able to abide single-pointedly in concentration for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, for a long, long time. Then you're able to have this happiness, which is stable happiness. And so the yogis who develop this high level of concentration, when they look at the types of happiness that we all experience and the way that we go about having happiness, they laugh at it because they see that it's not stable, and actually they see that the own happiness that they have is not this fleeting one that is wavering. It's a really stable kind of happiness.
Like one of my very good friend, he's a very great meditator. He used to meditate here. His retreat house is here. Now he passed away. Incredible practitioner. So one time, when I went to the McLeod main square, and then he was outside of this shop, Naroji shop. Now it's destroyed. So he's staying like this, and he's looking at all the people that saw cars and the cows and dogs and all the people going there and here, screaming, crying, all this he sees, and then he's looking like that. And I came just slowly behind him, and then I say, "Hey meditator, are you start judging other people?" Yeah. So then he hold my hand and he said, look, all these people, cannot they just stay for a few minutes? Why they have to move so much? So because he's coming from the retreat, he's really calmed his mind. He can take everything very slow pace. Then he really enjoys each and every steps. So when he goes into the McLeod, he sees so much craziness in other. So he's generating some kind of a mindset. If they stay for a few minutes, calming their mind, they're so peace. But why they're going so crazy here in the name of happiness? So this is how it comes up. So that's why now that's how on the distraction levels, then we can somehow say the happiness of the realms way, like in hell, fully occupied by manifest suffering. So then in the animal realm, little bit better, until another predator comes. So then in the human realm, we have some protections or something, and then more, if you, now it will come up, then human has its own kind of distractions and how the mind, the peace of the mind goes away. And in the God's realm, and when we talk about God's realm, at the level of the desire God's realm, it's different. And then we have needs water. Good. Didn't need water. And then on the something can she want to jump in. She sim talu kijeshi ni mibodi tar dangche ani kogi something come down so yang jik chiyo do jambe komo ta na oma megi and same ki nam sha tu gyen tang ji tar tang ji ani na ju da sumi gi ding se se tu le ba.
So then about the desire realms, the absorptions of the form realm, the higher concentrations or the absorptions where there's a more refined state of mind, a subtler state of mind with a subtler meditation objects, and they go progressively with more and more subtler objects, and then progressing up to the formless realms, the formless absorptions, these even subtler concentrations right along. And so there's the distinction of the progression of the states of mind from within the desire realm and the form realm, and the higher realms, the form and formless realms.
So tana dushi ji kesajirago to na ane telateni sem tembo me charu so ne dushi me nyumjuk se geje de to le ko wa dushi maranju dushi ji ke wo jambe telateni sem churu wo jambe ane dushi me nyumjuk se ane geje she ko da.
So then there's this, when we have a discrimination of something or discernment of something, that actually agitates the mind. And so then there's this explanation of the absorption which is free of devoid of the discrimination. Yeah, so it's a particular state of absorption where you don't have any discrimination in any object.
So that the 탐제 용사기다 상로당사기 the 참마 딜레 녜디 something 딜레 야요 얘기 곰데 딜레 야요 세기지 시서도 정말 distraction 지여베이나 세모모지 비우도 세 상로도 지부지잖아.
So they go moving through these states of refining their objects to subtler, moving along through these states. Each time they have a discrimination of a particular object, and so then there's something that they're aiming to achieve states of happiness when they try to refine their objects. But so long as they have these discrimination of objects, then there's the suffering that comes along with it.
For us, if there's no distraction, that's boring. We are talking about a distraction which really brings your attraction. It's a bliss, it's an enjoyment. But then we need to be serious and then say like, is it something really, really necessary in order to bring? Yeah, pleasure, of course, sometimes it comes, okay. But an infinite happiness are you looking for? Then you will start to battle with your own thoughts. So if there is something like this, then it leads to another level of this kind of suffering, So this is how you really wanted to get rid of all these distractions. 제자가다 디니 된다 디니 마치 로비나 다다 감정 버리미도 나서 뭐니지 대화네 민데나 디디치셔 배워신도 두두 냐와다 사와다 동은 디디고 디청로 잘봐 양년도 주베 돌스 인주도 되 먹어치 다 배워신 다 after this now we finished 디르바다 둥이 in general suffering,
yes,
we covered that, okay? But it's not finished yet. But it's good news, it's much shorter. It's much shorter. Yeah, okay. And I will make it more short for you. So kind. 다소수 동행이 시행원조 잠배 아니 미 동행 시행요래. 당고 미 동행에서 다 미 동행이 나로는 지단은 못 주요. 다 if you pull up the suffering of human just up there. Did you window? Oh yeah, just go up this one finish. This is finished. Go. Okay. Yes, the suffering of human beings. That's good. Oh, yes. That's good. Okay. Now the suffering of human beings looks like it's talking about us. So we should know it. But somehow, it's very strange. What you have already encountered many sufferings, but you will never come into a conclusion saying, I don't want this kind of suffering anymore. What to do with that? But we will always try to find a door, next door to run away. It's not like I don't want to go to the next level again. But it's more like you finish with this kind of situation and then you feel like, wow, I found this. And then there's the same door actually with the different colors. You end up in the same kind of situation in a different enemy, different environment, and then this is how we suffer. The most important, I'm not going to go through that. The quotation, the quote or the what's that? The verse where Shen Choki Tamde said, "Ngendru Dunya Moluba Minam Layang Yobarna." Tibet Nakado. Did Choki Tam said, all the suffering of misery realms, tormented by pain, they are like hell beings. So even this great being, the Master says, we can see the pains of the suffering in the hell realms and God realm. I can see in this human realm. Actually, that's a bit true. You can see so many huge suffering just going to hospital and then just staying there for maybe a few hours will really come to huge kind of a question mark in you. Like if it's like you are just looking at other people, then it's like you are watching a movie. But if you really put yourself into the situation like this, then you will always feel like, I really don't want to go into that kind of situation. And then it's like big question, huge question actually. If somebody put like this question mark, this question mark comes up. Look, big question mark. Yeah. Okay. Now we finished the human suffering. Okay. Not yet finished. We left on the 400 stanzas. This is very good. This is very practical. This you cannot say no at all. That's really true. For the privileged listener, like rich people, pain is mental. For common people, it is physical, more feeling. Day after day, both types of pain afflict this world. This is a very powerful one. So now we are moving to the demigods. The demigods, we can read a bit and then, because now I'm a bit sure that nobody wants to become a demigod, right? Anybody wants a demigod? So, but to see, even ending up in this world, like sometimes we want to watch aliens, but this is one kind of movie that we need to watch. Maybe be careful not being into this wrong. Did it that? Can you move up with that? Yes. Why they are called demigods? Because of their hatred of the splendor of the deities. Though they are intelligent, they do not see the truth because of the mental obscurations, characteristic of what's that? Characteristic of this realm of rebirth. So we can say, if you have a strong jealousy, then if you are not a god, then if you have a strong jealousy, then you are not a good human being. You are demi-human. Okay, dice. Tatine namingi dibachi yimbe study agodo sharab dan denyans control namju ya sta yorede namingi dibachi yimbe sidu namingi dibasi du jambe samlo 동해를 타려야다. 아니 동행기 줄 제버체 삼로 딘디기 삼로디 용야 매버치 요즘에 남밍이 되버치. 남밍이 되버치. 코로나 삼로디 게 투야요 말았어. 셔럽이오르데 셔럽디 아니 아란주 단다. 아주 단다도 쓰는 최년시 제가 삼로당에 지금 우도와 지금 딜파 디버 매버서야. 아니 디 덩진 컨디스 매버서 그래. 대샤 컨디스 매버서 그래. 디기 삼로디 미두자베 딘디기 남밍이 되버치. 인베스 땡텔라 덴바 통도 미롱어서 같이 줄 때문에 덴바 통도 말했어.
So here it says they are intelligent, but they have mental obscurations. Here the mental obscurations is like this obscuration of being distracted, and so it doesn't even occur to them. They don't think about what is suffering, what are the causes of suffering. They don't think to look to see what is the nature of reality. And so, yeah, they're intelligent, but they have these mental obscurations of this distraction obscures them due to the fruits of their past karma, which makes it impossible for them to see the truth.
And I think they are doing so much fight. Look at this. The deity, they fight with the deities and endure many sufferings, such as having their bodies cut and split apart.
That's above, just above.
Yeah.
Because of this.
Yeah. There is a bit of fighting, but then it's not the same as the because they are a god and they are God, so they have a power to bring with their power. They can. They don't need to go to hospital. Otherwise, then there will be a hospital in a demigod realm. So they have this strong concentration and the power of their merit. So one is saying. The power of some mantras, so they can put fix their bodies together. But the pain is there, the suffering is there. So it's like movies, isn't it? Yes?
Can you name some gods? Like who are these gods and the deities you were talking about? So we have an idea.
Demigods. It's just we are talking about the realms, not the individual, the place, individual, just like in the categories.
Yeah. What kind of gods? Like what are they? What's their function, for instance?
Functions, na? So, can you be more specific? If I say this is the human way of doing. So how do you want to know that the gods realm now?
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine the human realm because I can see this, but I know that there are deities like Tara, Vajrayogini.
Yes.
And the gods, are there like different gods? Because you talk about mantras, that there are mantras to these gods.
Yeah.
I just wonder who they are.
Oh, yeah. So this right now we are talking about desire realm. It's a realm of where there's suffering. So when we talk about the deities of like a Tara or where the enlightened beings are, that's a different realm we are talking. So this is why we say that what they do, daily basis, there's jealousy, fighting, everything. This is how it's written there. So, but then I really don't know much what they eat, and they so not very specific, I know anything. But this is like the general information. So maybe, yeah. So in the Hinduism, they have quite more details on that, very much, because how they fight for the Mount Mirurva, so they have all the stories there. So I'm not really know very well on that. Okay. Yeah, there's mushroom in there. I just kidding. You have that?
According to this book that I'm reading by Trungpa,
Trungpa, yeah.
He mentioned that it's us humans like falling into the different realms of like the hell realm. Then we are very much in a self-absorption, and then we can fall into the demigod realm, and that would be what it says, stupidity. And then when you're in the God realm, poverty. No, that's poverty is the ghost realm. It says. So you have these qualities within you, and you fall into the realms. So you can experience the realms like in this life.
Of course, right. That's what in the beginning we covered up a bit of this, saying like the quotation that I gave you, so we can feel all the suffering of the hells and the gods in this human realm.
Yeah, so this makes more sense to me than to like imagine.
Yeah, that's true. Yes.
Right. And so when Buddhahood is inherent in all the realms, in everything, so also in the God realm or in like the hell, there is also Buddha nature.
The Buddha nature is there, that's true.
So suffering, we actually can use the suffering to attain this Buddha nature.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So it's not just like to escape from the suffering, but I can use this suffering to change poison into medicine.
Yeah. So remember, when we say use the suffering, use the attachment, then yesterday I mentioned, unless you don't see, unless you don't want it to fight back to the suffering, the root of the suffering, then you feel like I'm going to use it, it will use you. Up to now it's been using us. So that's why Shantideva was saying, who is your real enemy? That we never should not project our main enemy. That's very clear.
That I can transform this enemy into enlightenment. So when someone is very, very ill, and so you're searching for enlightenment much more than when you're in a very easy condition.
Yes.
So you can transform this illness into your own enlightenment.
Yeah, so what kind of enlightenment we are talking about here? What kind of enlightenment we are talking about here?
I think enlightenment.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
manifest your Buddha nature.
Yeah. So when we say Buddha nature, so what is that Buddha nature?
Buddha means enlightenment.
Yes. So now it comes to the point, once your mind stays strongly, inseparable, which is called the meditative occupies on the reality, which is the emptiness. Once you can stay this, then this is the fully enlightenment. Once it moves from that, then this is a sentient being, not a fully enlightened. So if you have a power to bring this concentration, absorption towards that reality for 24/7, then it's very, very easy. So now, then you have already transformed all the negative into the positive. You can say now, things is illusion. Now I can function everything in a very extraordinary way. So then no problem. Until that, it's a bit difficult. So that's why there is Teyata Gate Gate Para Gate Parasam Gate Buddha Soha. So there is this pattern, there's stages. So that we need to recognize that. So everybody has the Buddha nature, but why they have to suffer? Why they cannot transform? Because we are under the sway of not the Buddha nature, but we are under the sway of our negative emotion.
But Buddhism is empowering us.
Mm-hmm.
Not like the Buddhist practice is empowering us to overcome.
Empowering is correct.
Empowering.
Yeah. Yes, yes. Speaking, yes. Mm-hmm.
To purify. No?
Yes, of course. Yeah, that's why Buddha said, I cannot give my practice to you. I have shown you the path. You need to recognize it, realize it, and then you will be liberated. That's what he said. So that's what that's why in order to bring this flavor, we need to go all the what is the nature of the suffering. And then you feel like, oh, how much I'm in a state of happiness at the moment, pleasant happiness. Then you say, I'm in the nature of the suffering, then you need to bring this awareness. And say like, oh, I need to focus on now the nature of the mind. True nature of the mind. Because right now, I'm not influenced by the true nature of mind, I am influenced by the blessings of the ignorance mind. So then I always end up in the suffering. Okay? Okay, now we need to take a break here. What's that? What's that?
Could you say though that the states of minds are actually more the realms, and then if you're like stuck in a hell realm, then you die in that realm to be reborn and find like a new state of mind, and perhaps hopefully you will like reborn into a human realm which has the most potential.
Yeah, the realm, it is not just I think state of mind. When you think state of mind, it's like it's there somewhere in my mind. It's not like that. So state of the realms are their own through their karmic influence way. Through karmic influence, kurangi leg toki ani shalanya chita ani kurangi pajak toki dude chibada.
So through the influence of the karma, through the power of the karmic seed, it ripens and it actually makes this appearance of a realm, and you actually establish this realm through the power of the karma.
So you're actually talking about like entities, different entities from different realms.
They're different realms. Yeah. It's different.
So it confuses me.
Yeah.
Like according to this guy.
Yeah. It say like we can relate something.
I think you can use it as a metaphor.
Yes. Yeah. Something like I can feel your pain. Seeing like watching the movie, so you can feel the pain of the protagonist. And this is how you bring anger for the protagonist. Actually, it's from your side. So you feel like I'm supporting this. Why I really need to protagonist to kill that antagonist. We feel that. We are trying to understand what the feelings are going on. But the realm is in a very different state. Okay? Okay. Tondo.